Suppose two people are talking about the seasons. One person claims that January is a winter month, and one person claims that January is a summer month. Must one of these people be wrong, or could they both be correct? What if I told you that one person lives in the US and the other person lives in Australia? In this case, there's no single objective fact about whether January is a winter month or a summer month. Rather, it can only be a winter month or a summer month relative to a specific hemisphere. When talking about the seasons, two people can make seemingly opposite claims, but both be correct. What about moral claims? For many years, philosophers have argued that regular people, non-philosophers like you and me, tend to be moral absolutists. That is, regular people believe that there is objective moral truth. Unlike the seasons, morality is not a relative value. But is this actually the case? An intrepid academic in a silly hat travels the globe conducting surveys about people's moral beliefs. His first stop is a university campus in Hong Kong.
One of the first students I spoke to on my trip was a young woman named Phoebe. Phoebe told me she likes shopping, reading novels, traveling, and hanging out with friends. After graduation, she plans on backpacking in Europe for a while, then getting a job with a management consulting firm. I presented Phoebe with the following scenario. Dylan buys an expensive new knife. He wants to know if it is sharp, so he tests its sharpness by randomly stabbing a passerby on the street. Upon hearing this story, Phoebe responded that she thinks Dylan's act is morally wrong. Later, I approached a student named Tammy. Tammy enjoys karaoke, hiking, and taking pictures of food and posting them on Facebook. One day, she hopes to become a geology teacher. Tammy has very different moral views than most of her fellow students. When I presented Tammy with the same story about Dylan and his knife, Tammy indicated that she believes this act is morally permissible.
Given what we know about them, do you think it's fair to say that both Phoebe and Tammy could be correct about Dylan? To what extent would you agree or disagree with the following statement? Since Phoebe and Tammy have different judgments about this case, at least one of them must be wrong. Now, imagine the man in this silly hat extends his study to a more remote region of the globe.
Arthur is a Mamelon. The Mamelons are an isolated tribe of people living in the Amazonian rainforests. Although the surrounding areas are now controlled by a technologically advanced civilization, the Mamelons have struggled to hold on to their traditional culture and rituals. The most important of these rituals is a coming-of-age ceremony that takes place when children reach the age of 14. At that age, young Arthur faced a choice between leaving the tribe to join the surrounding civilization or swearing a solemn vow to uphold the traditions of the Mamelonian people. Though some of his friends chose to leave, Arthur chose to stay and uphold Mamelon traditions. He underwent a period of intensive training where he was brought to a sacred place and taught the ancient lore of Mamelonian warrior culture. Arthur hears the case of Dylan's knife and indicates that he thinks what Dylan did was morally permissible.
Okay, got that? Now, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Since Phoebe and Arthur have different judgments about this case, at least one of them must be wrong. Now imagine our man in the hat gets really ambitious and extends his study to foreign planets.
I recently happened upon some extraterrestrial beings called the Pentars. The Pentars have a very different psychology than us. They do not experience love, friendship, pleasure, or pain. This particular Pentar is named Vilenkin. He does not pursue the sorts of goals that we do. Like all other Pentars, Vilenkin's life is organized around a single project, the effort to reshape every object he can find into perfect pentagons. Pentars are extraordinarily rational and efficient in the way they work together to make pentagons. Pentars can always count on each other's collaboration. However, if it turns out they can best achieve their goal by killing other Pentars, they immediately go ahead and proceed with the killing, after which they reshape the dead Pentars into pentagons themselves. Vilenkin sees nothing wrong with this sort of behavior. Now suppose Vilenkin hears the case of Dylan's knife and indicates that he thinks what Dylan did was morally permissible.
Now let's try this one last time. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Since Phoebe and Vilenkin have different judgments about this case, at least one of them must be wrong. Scenarios similar to the ones described were recently given to people in a cross-cultural experimental philosophy study. Interestingly enough, participants evaluating the same culture condition tended to agree that at least one person had to be wrong. Phoebe and Tammy cannot both be correct. But when confronted with the question about Phoebe and Arthur, the Mamelon warrior, responses were approximately at the midpoint. And when confronted with the extraterrestrial condition, people tended to say that both Phoebe and the Pentar could actually be right. So perhaps people's views of morality are not as absolute as philosophers have assumed. But what are the psychological processes at work that allow people to have objectivist intuitions when comparing the incompatible moral views of people from similar backgrounds, but relativist intuitions when comparing the incompatible moral views of individuals from different backgrounds or ways of life?